My name is Keith Henry. I'm the president for the BC Métis Federation. Today's an important day where we continue our journey around conservation efforts and sustainability. We're trying to work within our Métis community through our members and partners just to elevate the importance of conservation, environmental conservation, sustainability, and the things that affect us in many different ways. I think the largest takeaway for me has just been realizing I'm a bit more environmentally conscious than maybe I gave myself credit for. Particularly the presentation in the Okanagan and the Silts people about the conservation of fish stock and the process. I've always found that fascinating, and it made me really think about what pressure am I putting, because I like fishing, and how am I contributing to sustainability? Do I even think about how the local nations use fish as a food source, or am I just locked in my world with sport fishing? The BC Métis Federation proudly stands for conservation and environmental sustainability. Our members have demanded that for years, and it's these kind of activities and efforts to actually educate and teach ourselves how to become better stewards of land and water that make us, I think, help make us a very powerful Métis community here in British Columbia. And working together with First Nations and Métis, like we've seen here today, even adds much more strength to that power. I really hope people come to learn about the BC Métis Federation and our work with conservation efforts. You can go to our website at bcmétis.com or coastalconservation.com. And I think it's really important for people to come and learn and participate and be up at beach cleanups and attend these forums and be part of the conversation.
My name is Morgan Guerin. I am an elected councillor for the Musqueam First Nation. I was recently elected. I've did 3 terms before in Musqueam, had 4 years off. It was really nice. Got my Mondays back, my weekends are great. And now back to work. The conversation you're having is something that's very important to me. And to all Musqueam people, but the table doesn't start until we're there. And the capacity that we needed to build within ourselves returned at a violent rate. So I had to tell a whole generation behind me, be ready, your challenges are gonna be different than I had in the first half of my career. Get out there, get yourself educated, not just in our beautiful education system that we have around us, but the one that is right in front of you and always has been. When we talk about these connections to Earth, this is why I'm happy to be here, because it is a room full of people who come from all different places are now saying, how do we look after Mum together? And that is really what we need to be doing from every generation forward. We are generation 0 of reconciliation. We don't have to get it right, but boy, we got to get it started.
My great-great-grandmother was Blandine. She told her kids how bad it was. My great-great-grandfather Napoleon was born in 1885. When he was older, he passed that story on to my grandpa Alfred, who passed it on to my dad, who I didn't know these stories were true. I actually thought they were made up. And I've come to learn those stories were 100% true. And why are we, at a time of reconciliation, not understanding this story? Like, as Indigenous people, we have dealt with a lot of things, but we do need to find justice for these kind of situations in some form. And there's many stories of many other families that were recorded, This particular reporter recorded, as you can see, 24 situations of houses burnt, families brutalized, people killed. I don't know why, this gets me so emotional every time. Sorry guys, I've done this multiple times to prep myself, and it's just hard with talking about your family when it's real. It's easy to talk about Métis stuff when it's not yours and your identity and your family specifically. But when we say the words from our past for our future, le temps passé, le temps qui vient, which we spoke a French Michif dialect in that particular area, that means a lot to me. I cannot tell you how much of a core value it is to me to say those words out loud to everybody, because I think we have to really believe in that and we have to understand it. So, we're going to continue with the work we do today around cultural revitalization. We got to learn that language in our world too. We got to know our story. We got to know the language they spoke. We're not just a mixed blood group of people that lived in some mix of First Nations and European culture. My family has a story, and I'm going to share that with you a bit about the Northwest Resistance. And I just want to say thank you very much, and thanks for listening. It's very emotional to me, it's very important to me, and I hope you've learned a little bit more about the Métis people today.
So my name is Shay. I work for OceanWise. We are an ocean conservation nonprofit. So today we have our giant sea dome behind us. Our sea dome is basically like an underwater movie theater. So we project 360 footage and images, and throughout our 15-minute presentation, we talk you through some tropical ecosystems as well as some local ecosystems, so you can really interact with those species and learn more about them. The coolest part about my job is probably just getting to connect with so many people. We go to elementary schools a lot, and I remember I was that young kid that was so excited to see those ocean conservation people come in, and so it's amazing to see myself in those younger kids. Ocean conservation, I think it's really important to understand that small changes make a really big impact. It's not a super daunting task. There are really small things we can do that will make a huge impact. It's really amazing being here at Beyond the Blue Conference 2025 because we can connect with a lot of like-minded individuals who are passionate about conservation, as well as getting to include that Indigenous aspect that is such an important part of ocean conservation. If you are interested in learning more about what we do at OceanWise, you can visit ocean.org. If you're interested in the Sea Dome coming to your school or community event, you can email us at mobile@ocean.org. Our Sea Dome uses 4K 360-degree footage, so you can get the real underwater experience and get up close and personal with those tropical ecosystems and those local ecosystems.
So in 2023, I graduated with my Bachelor's of Applied Sciences from UBC Engineering, and I started my work as a decarbonization consultant at EcoAct, which is where I still am now. Unfortunately, what I started feeling was a bit of a disconnect. So I started pursuing decarbonization and sustainability as a way to help the movement and to really reconnect with what's really important, the earths that surround us, the water that is 70% of the earth and 70% of our bodies. And so feeling that disconnect, I really felt inspired to reach out and think about something more. And so I joined the Ocean Bridge Youth Program, which is hosted by OceanWise. I think we've got some OceanWise representatives here. So please go check out their Sea Dome. They do amazing work, and it is thanks to them that I'm here today. And so when I started the Ocean Bridge Youth Program, I started thinking about how I could connect the sea forestation movement and the ocean conservation movement to my personal interests. And I'm a big card game person, board game person. I play a lot of card games with my friends. My friends, however, are not huge conservation people. And so what I felt really inspired to do was to bring that to them by creating a game that could kind of passively teach them about the movement while actively playing the game. And that's the inspiration for the game you see in front of you. And so the way that I connect to kelp is that it's a silent supporting force underneath everything else that's going on. And so I wanted to share that bit of a personal piece with you. Otherwise, why choose kelp last? So kelp forests have been in decline since around 2014, most noticeably off the Californian coast. But kelp loss does not start in 2014. Kelp across the globe has been in decline due to human influence for a long time. The importance of kelp forests, as I mentioned, is that it's a significant source of nutrition for coastal marine ecosystems, including salmon and rockfish. It's a shelter for animals that are currently in protection. Of course, the sea otter, which is incredibly important in restoration to BC at the moment, due to our recovery from the unfortunate effects of the fur trade. Some causes of kelp forest loss, which we will explore later in the game as well, are the loss of urchin predators, leading to increased consumption of kelp and urchin barrens. So with the loss of predators such as the sunflower sea star and the otter, there are fewer urchin being eaten, which means there are more urchins that are there to predate on kelp, which can result in barrens called urchin barrens. Of course, plastic and chemical pollution can impact kelp growth, and overfishing creates kind of a lack of ecosystem diversity, and warming oceans due to increased carbon emissions can make it really difficult for kelp to grow and thrive as they like colder environments. So we realized that our passion was a creative drive for learning opportunities and to research the connection between art and the climate movement. We really believe that art and communication and workshops are inherently linked to creating a robust and all-encompassing climate solution that won't just crumple the next time something happens. So we'll come back to the main room now. I'm so sorry to interrupt your conversations. I'm seeing that there's a lot of buzz going on, and I'm really excited to see that you're having such insightful and interesting conversations already. Hopefully that will only continue while you're playing the game. And without further ado, I see that you're all very excited, so I will leave as soon as I can. Please, go ahead and have fun. Keep your kelp in hand.
Imagine you're responsible for protecting a river ecosystem. You see changes happening, shifting sediment patterns, changing water flows. You need to make decisions fast. But every time you run your computer models, you have to wait 3 days for results. 3 days to know if your intervention will help or hurt. 3 days to respond to emerging threats. Sometimes 3 days is too long. Ben and Yong had a problem. As Bureau of Reclamation scientists, they needed to protect river ecosystems. But their computer models took so long to run that the information was outdated by the time they got the model. Here's what this can mean in practice. When Ben and Yong received information from communities about changing river flows, they would spring into action. They'd gather their data, start their models, and wait. And wait. And wait. 3 days later, they'd finally get results, but by then the conditions had changed. The stakes were high. This isn't just about slow computers. It's about protecting ecosystems, supporting communities, and managing our precious water resources. Then, Ben and Yong decided to try something different. Instead of following the usual path of writing grants, waiting for proposals, they decided to open their challenge to the world. NASA Tournament Lab facilitates the use of crowdsourcing to tackle challenges. Researchers, scientists, and engineers have launched crowdsourcing challenges and projects through the NASA Tournament Lab, seeking novel ideas or solutions to accelerate research and development efforts, improve algorithm performance, or seek new ideas and approaches. What could you do with a global network of solvers? We've worked on contests to simulate space robotics, create graphics of future technologies, analyze maternal morbidity data, even logo designs or website UI. There are many ways to use an innovation challenge to solve problems. Another example is this AMPS challenge, where we asked innovators to help improve efficiencies in monitoring electric power systems. Basically, we want to be able to test dams without shutting them down. And it furthered Reclamation's mission of managing, developing, and protecting water resources. What's your impossible problem? Maybe, like Ben and Yong's story, it's just waiting for the right approach.
I am Michael Dakin. As said here, I'm a senior advisor with Alacrity Canada. My own personal background, I grew up here in Metro Vancouver. My family, it was great having the conversation about knowing what your roots are. And I'm proud to say that my roots here, I do come from a settler family that came over from Europe in the 1870s and settled in the Fraser Valley. And I was privileged to be the 6th generation of my family to live on the same property and to grow in a community, to build a community. So Alacrity Canada, we are a nonprofit foundation based in Victoria, and we've been around for 14 years. We build and grow valuable Canadian technology companies that solve global challenges through industry and digital transformation. We offer unique and innovative programs tailored to the needs of entrepreneurs to grow revenue and attract investment. And we create and deliver digital training, adoption, and implementation programming for business. We've supported over 24,000 entrepreneurs. We've helped deliver over 400 million of export revenue. We've supported over 17,000 students through our various programs. We have created over $1.7 billion in company value with companies that we've helped scale. And here with sustainability, this is the Plastic Action Fund that I've been working on. We've diverted over 25 million kilograms of plastic. And I'll tell you, that number is actually from the first 2 rounds of the program, which totaled about $9 million in total. And we are, in this round, putting out $22 million. So, a $25 million diversion, and we're tripling that. So, I hope that you come away from today encouraged, and I hope you come away from today with a spark, an idea. And like I said, Carly and I have got a table in the vendors. We would love to talk to you further. And even if you don't even really know what we could do to help you, I love just hearing from entrepreneurs. I love hearing from people that have ideas about a better future, because I am in this, not for me, I am in this for my kids. I am in this for my grandchildren who hopefully are decades away. But that is the view. That is why I do what I do. And that's why we do what we do at Alacrity. We want to do things that will support businesses and help them move forward. So thank you so much.
Hello everybody, it's good to see you all. My name is Tori Nicholas, and I'm from the Splatson First Nations in around Enderby, BC, but I live in Kamloops now. And I'm presenting my master's research on predator patrol, where I'm investigating the predation on juvenile Chinook salmon within the Okanagan Basin. I've included a slide here, and I hope this is okay, with a couple photos of the fish that we pulled out of bass stomachs. I've included these ones specifically because these fish sort of, to me, look like juvenile salmonids. And I'm saying that because they would be approximately about the same size. Their scales are kind of a silvery blue color, and the timing of capture also aligns with that. And I'm so excited to share this with you guys. I can actually say that bass are eating juvenile Chinook salmon. And that is because that picture right there is a picture of the tiny transmitter that I was talking about previously in Selena's study. So those teeny tiny 2-centimeter acoustic transmitters. And if you remember, we released those fish on May 25th. So I would like to take a second to thank our friends, family, and so many volunteers who spent hours angling with us this summer. I have a couple highlighted pictures of community members that came out. We have Jackie Sanchez, Louis Baptiste, and Colette Louis, as well as our undergraduate researcher, Autumn Smeltzer. There is so many more people I can't even count. So yes, thank you so much for your time.
I'm here to talk to you today about how when we do work to heal the land, we heal ourselves.
So the really powerful thing about our minds is we don't even have to be there. We can go there in our minds and still experience relaxation, calm, right? Everyone, I can see lots of smiles on people's faces right now. Just thinking about it, you've already calmed down. It's really powerful. So even though we might just feel like we're only one drop in the ocean, we're all doing it together. Now, the tool that I want to give to you today, because I don't want to just say all this and then send you on your way. I want to be able to give you a tool, a medicine gift that you can tuck away in your pocket and walk away with today. And so the tool that I'm sharing with you is mindfulness. But guess what? You already know how to do it, because we already did it together twice. I got you to take a deep breath, connect in. So now when you go out to where you like to go, you can do that practice, and there will be healing messages available to you. There will be that letting go. There may be places in your body that you just need to, just release that. Let the water take it away. Let the wind blow it away. And with this mindfulness, when we just tune in, we get to understand how we can live our life better by viewing how the land is. When we are out at the water, we can watch the waves move and go, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be flowing that way. Or we can feel the wind and say, oh yeah, I'm supposed to move that stuff out of the way. Or we can watch the trees and remember, oh yeah, I'm supposed to stand tall like that. I have that strength and that groundedness within me as well. So this is a tool that you get to now tuck away and take with you next time you're out doing your work. Thank you so much for listening.
How are we supposed to mobilize as humans if we don't know what we're mobilizing for? Today in Canada, we have over 500 species at risk. How many do you think you know? Today, I'm going to be talking about some of BC's endangered wildlife. Hi, everybody. My name is Michaela, and I am a wildlife educator at Northwest Wildlife Preservation Society. Northwest's mission is to foster preservation through education. The Vancouver Island Marmot Recovery Foundation has made significant contributions to the marmot populations. They partner with the Calgary and the Toronto Zoo to captive breed and release marmots. They also provide supplemental feeding, habitat restoration, as well as marmot rescue. How fun. And this past year, 2024, was a huge success for them. They saw 108 new marmot babies born, which is outstanding and very exciting. So we can directly see that in this case, humans have saved this species from extinction. So while many may not notice the disappearance of species like our Salish sucker, the truth is that no species exists in isolation. And when a species disappears due to habitat degradation, fragmentation, or general human mismanagement, it at least acts as an indicator if it doesn't create a ripple effect. We have to ask ourselves, what happened here? As Aldo Leopold very wisely stated, if the biota in the course of eons has built something that we like but do not understand, then who but a fool would discard seemingly useless parts? To keep every cog and wheel is the first precaution of intelligent tinkering. We have to be proactive instead of reactive, and seemingly small or obscure species are cogs in an intricate mechanism of life. Our actions today determine whether these delicate ecosystems remain intact or unravel. And by protecting animals and their ecosystems, we ensure that relationships sustaining all life, including our own, remain strong and vibrant. Thank you.
Hi there, my name's Eric Piccola. So, in a lot of cases across BC and our forests and watersheds, we've been busy for the last 180 years changing these ecosystems, and we don't really know the impacts that we've had. I think First Nations know the impacts that we've created on these landscapes as settlers, but the rest of us don't really know. Cumulative effects are kind of bringing us in that direction, but it just seems in a lot of cases that like forests and our watersheds and our ecosystems, it's like a black box. We lift the lid and don't like what we see and then slap the lid down again really quickly. And we don't really know what's going into those ecosystems or what's going out of them, but we're getting more and more aware of that. So I've been kind of developing this concept that I call ecosystem decoding, because as been mentioned today too about visions and knowledge from the past, and I think Western cultures are really bad about exchanging knowledge from generation to generation. First Nations are really good at this. We as West and settlers aren't good at this. And in this era of climate change and wildfires in LA we see now, and flooding and heat domes, and we need all the data we can possibly get. So why wouldn't we use all kinds of knowledge streams to figure out what's happening, how have we changed the ecosystems to the present time, and then figuring out how did they change through time, and then looking to the future, what are the challenges that are facing us, and what do the ecosystems need right now in order to be able to withstand climate change and habitat loss and more sort of extractive industries that are basically extracting from the land without having to account for what their impacts on the land are. I would say that, this is all coming from a Western perspective, and I've got like 2 L's on my back when it comes to the 14,000 years of traditional ecological knowledge from First Nations. But I got to start from my knowledge base and move forward and try to bring these, like two-eyed seeing, try to see these things with 2 eyes. But anyway, so I'll be presenting then on February the 8th in Victoria, because do a little bit of a deeper dive on what are these 21st century forest solutions. So basically, we got to learn from the past to understand the present so we can plan and predict the future. And if we don't, then we're just gonna crash and burn. So I think we want to do that and not do that, and we also just want to keep ourselves on the course and be as positive as possible and not get dragged down into the weeds, into the doom and gloom, which is in a lot of places. So it's a long game, and I'm new to the long game. First Nations have been forever in the long game. So we got to keep pursuing and make some changes and create ecosystems for the 21st century. Thank you.
But I just want to say, it brings us great. We need to continue to work together, and it was very heartwarming to see that this morning. Finally, I want to call up our team. And I don't mean to go on and on about this as we wrap up, but often we get to these conferences and we don't thank our team enough. And on behalf of our board, I really want to bring our team up here in front of everyone and honor them properly, at least acknowledge the work that they've done this weekend. Again, thank you, everyone. Thank you to the speakers. Very important. This conversation needs to stay alive. We need to keep this moving forward. Great job, guys.
Hello, my name is Earl Belcourt. I'm the Vice President of the British Columbia Métis Federation, and I'm here at the Coastal Water Protectors Conference. Our past and our future, and that's what we're fighting for. We're just showing our past to the public to understand who the Métis are and where we come from, where we're at, and where we're going. We have an emergency fund that we set up for people in need. We know what we need to do is to convince people to do the right things. And that's the most difficult part.
I really hope people come to learn about the BC Métis Federation and our work with conservation efforts. And I think it's really important for people to come and learn and participate and be at beach cleanups and attend these forums and be part of the conversation.